knockers.
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
Who could ever forget the pranks and puns of Young Frankenstein? Mel Brooks' acclaimed lampoon of horror films. Certainly not co-star Terry Garr.
Hello.
You know, a day doesn't go by, and I am not exaggerating, that people don't come up to me and go, "What knockers?" Or, "Would you like to have a roll in the hay?"
Would you like to have a roll in the hay?
At 24, Garr made her film breakthrough as Inga, the ditzy laboratory assistant of Dr. Frankenstein.
That's Frankenstein.
The reason I found out about it was that my mother was a wardrobe woman, and she said, "Next movie I'm doing is with Mel Brooks." I said, "Oh, I love Mel Brooks." She said, "You know, there's a couple of women's parts in it." I said, "Well, a fat chance I have. I'll never get near that."
But Garr's offbeat humor got her near enough to be director Mel Brooks' second choice for the role of Elizabeth, Dr. Frankenstein's fiancée, until Madeline Kahn agreed to take the part.
Love me?
He said, "You know, I'm sorry, I have bad news, Madeline." He just said, "Yes, she's going to do this part." I said, "Oh, all right. Well, it was nice coming in. Thank you. It was fun to be auditioning for you." He says, "But if you can come back tomorrow with a German accent, I'll let you try out for the other part, for the part of Inga." So I said, "Well, yes, I could come back tomorrow with the German accent. I could do it this afternoon, but we'll come back tomorrow." So I did.
Elevate me.
Now? Right here?
Young Frankenstein was the brainchild of comedian Gene Wilder.
Give my creation life!
Right off the hoofs of starring in Mel Brooks' Western spoof Blazing Saddles, Wilder approached his director with the idea of collaborating on this horror satire.
I think it was first written originally 100% by Gene Wilder, and then of course Mel Brooks came in and can't help but touch it up and put his hands all over it. So it has Gene Wilder's serious intent, and it has all the craziness that Mel Brooks would put on top of it.
Like Brooks' infamous slapstick and naughty shtick.
The scene where I said, "Well, if his hands are big and his head and his heart and his feet are..."
He would have an enormous Schwanzstücke.
That was Mel's word. I said, "Oh, Mel, what does that mean?" "It's my word. Just, would you just say it?" He would do that a lot. When I would ask him what things meant, he'd say, just say it." "Okay."
Despite his zany sensibility, Brooks was very serious about making Young Frankenstein a tribute to the horror films of the 1930s, which he loved as a boy.
When we first did this movie, Mel took us down into a screening room at 20th and showed us the old Frankenstein. And he said, "That's what I want. I want that feeling. I want this to be an homage to that."
To recreate that classic horror film look, Brooks insisted on shooting in black and white despite the studio's opposition. He tracked down the unusual laboratory props from the original Frankenstein and used them in his film. And he lovingly parodied famous scenes from horror classics, like the blind man sequence from Bride of Frankenstein.
A toast to long friendship.
Here I come.
What came off on screen as hilarious was equally entertaining on set.
I was so spoiled because the working atmosphere on that set was just like a party. It was like going to a party. I mean, you had to be laughing all the time. He had to be making jokes. Everyone had to be laughing.
I've got to look normal. We've all of us got to behave normally.
Young Frankenstein was enormously popular with filmgoers and critics, earning Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder an Oscar nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay. And because of the delicate balance between madcap humor and stylish direction, Young Frankenstein stands out as one of Mel Brooks' most accomplished works.
After 25 years, is that how long it's been? You look at that movie and you still laugh and you still see the humor in it. It means it's a classic movie and it holds up.
You can see Young Frankenstein this Wednesday at 3 a.m. Eastern during AMC's MonsterFest.